In my freshman year at Mercy College, I took a sociology class. I was assigned to write about a topic that can be disputable. The topic that I chose to write about was capital punishment. I titled my paper, Capital Punishment, the Incessant Debate. This is a very controversial topic that has been debated about for a long time. In the paper, I wrote about the arguments that can be made both pro-capital punishment and against capital punishment. There are many different positive and negative elements about the death penalty that I identified in my essay. I made sure to support both the positive aspects of the death penalty and the negative aspects, with arguments that are clear, precise, logical, and carefully qualified. One example of a positive aspect of capital punishment that I wrote about in my paper is that the death penalty is a way for the family of a victim to be able to get closure. In my paper, I explained that sometimes the only way for a victim's loved ones to be able to move on is by witnessing the death of the murderer. A negative aspect of the death penalty that I mentioned in my paper is the risk that innocent people will be put to death. But I did some research and found that these chances are almost completely eliminated due to DNA testing and other modern scientific methods. Other evidence that proves how difficult it would be for an innocent person to be given the death penalty is that all 12 jury members must unanimously agree that the person is guilty and deserves to be put to death. Capital punishment and the death sentence is significant because it is putting a life in the hands of everyday people on a jury. When a state supports the death penalty, it is a huge responsibility because this is a punishment that is irreversible. I understand both sides of the argument regarding capital punishment. I made sure to express in my paper that both arguments are valid and that there is not one correct opinion regarding the death penalty. Each person is entitled to their own opinion. Also, the opposing positions each have their strengths and weaknesses, and I made sure that this was made evident in my essay. My paper on capital punishment included all of the skills that are covered in the critical thinking competency. This past semester, I took anatomy of domestic animals. I was assigned to make an ebook about the anatomy of a giraffe. I first needed to gather together all of my research. I knew that I would need a lot of detailed information, so I got started finding my sources right away. All of my information needed to be from reliable, valid sources, so my first step was to look for books in Mercy College's library. I was pretty successful and I found a couple useful books that had a lot of information about the anatomy of a giraffe. This project is research-based, so I needed to find even more information. I went online to try to find some websites that might have information that I need. I wanted to make sure that all of the data in these websites was correct, so I only used university websites that ended with edu so that I could be sure that all of the information was coming from a valid source. I still needed even more information, so I went to another library and got a few more books. Next, I took all of the information that I found and organized it into a list of facts that was arranged into sections according to body system. I made sure that I had enough information and then started to make my ebook. I used the website Simple Booklet and called my ebook When Long Necks Collide. I took all of my research and incorporated it into the form of a story about two male giraffes fighting over a female giraffe. I made sure to cite every single book, website, and picture that I used in my ebook in proper MLA format. I really enjoyed doing this project because I had never made an ebook before. I would definitely love to make another ebook sometime during my academic career. I learned a lot while doing this project and completed all of the information literacy competencies.